What's going on with everybody, bro? Welcome back to another stream. Just woke up about like 30 minutes ago. Needed to get my brain wired. Got the coffee with the straw for an instant get up. um, you know, Chelsea did have a game yesterday against Spurs, and it's crazy that that game has overshadowed Arsenal winning the Premier League. But that's where I'm going to start. Um, Arsenal have been crowned the 25-26 Premier League champions, and it's not a good feeling to say that. Um, it's just not a good feeling to say that. And I've seen people say that BlueCo has enabled it, and actually thinking about it over the past like 12 hours or so, they might be right. Um, when you've spent essentially the same amount of money that Arsenal has spent, and Arsenal is able to win a Premier League title, that shows how far this club has really fallen. And like, I'm willing to hold myself accountable for saying that BlueCo is not the reason, but you know what? BlueCo is absolutely the reason why. You spend so much money, and the best that you can come up with is just qualifying for the Champions League in one season in 4 years, which is crazy. Like, it's actually nuts, right? You know, I'm not going to sit here and shit on Arsenal too much because when you win a Premier League title, there's a reason for it. Luck has to go your way for one in any championship, right? Like, you have to have some luck go your way. You have to have breaks go your way. But at the same time, Arteta has built a squad that is capable of challenging on all fronts. And that's something that this ownership has proven that they cannot do. You know, you see the scenes around North London yesterday, and basically all around that city yesterday, and it's just flooded with Arsenal fans. And you know what? It's like they deserve to have that title celebration, bro. I mean, they absolutely do. And like the Chelsea fans that are sitting here shitting on a lot of the fans for finally winning a Premier League title, we're going on 10 years without one now. Like, let that sink in. Now, Manchester United have a longer title drought, sure, but they're doing a lot better than us right now. Arsenal, for the most part, will be a force to be reckoned with next season, and just for seasons to come, because like I just think like the rest of the Premier League needs to catch up. Not just Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City are going to have Enzo Maresca there as the new manager, and it's just showing that how far a lot of teams are from actually winning it. As the table says, we're 30 points off top spot, and I'll get into Chelsea and Spurs in a second. I mean, that alone is a movie in on its own. Spurs have a chance to go down next weekend, given that we won yesterday. But, you know, it's just not a good feeling knowing that Arsenal has finally won the Premier League, bro. Like, it's just not a good feeling. But it's a congratulations to them. They deserve it. When you don't pick up any reds, when you don't concede penalties all season, and you can make the argument that they should have had a few red cards, they should have had a couple penalties conceded. No team in the Premier League has been more consistent than them all season, and consistency is what wins you titles, bro. And we'll see what they do in the Champions League against PSG. I don't think they win that. I think PSG does have a bit too much quality going forward for them, and if Arsenal want to win the Champions League, they need to score at least a couple goals, bro. Maybe even 3. But we'll see what happens on May 30th. It's in 10 days' time. We'll see what happens. But I'm not going to be that Chelsea fan that is so salty and so upset, you know, and start shitting on the Arsenal fans who are going to be saying that we're champions of England next season and possibly champions of Europe. Like, we can no longer sing that as Chelsea fans or any fans singing If they win the Champions League, we can no longer say we can no longer chant champions of Europe. You'll never sing that. We won't be able to even do that anymore. Um, I'm just finding it really hard to talk about this because it's like I despise Arsenal, bro. I really, really do. I had friends on my teams growing up that were Arsenal fans. I never got along with them because they they were just so arrogant, so ignorant, and they're probably happy as hell right now. I have a really good friend of mine that is an Arsenal fan, and you know, it's credit to him. He was telling me all season that this was going to be the year, this was going to be the time they finally do it, and they actually did it. So congratulations to Arsenal. Congratulations to them. We'll see if you guys can hold fort as defending champions because Liverpool clearly can't do it. We'll see what happens next season when I feel like a lot of the teams that were shit this season will actually be back in and around that title mix. But you know, I saw something on Talk Sport before I got on here. An Arsenal fan called in to Jamie O'Hara, right? And was saying that Mikel Arteta is one of the greatest Premier League managers of all time. Let's pump the brakes on that. We need to see what he does in the following season. If he can repeat as champion, be challenging, and you know, it's just really hard to talk about it, bro. I don't know what else to really say about it. I'll get into Chelsea and Spurs right now. Now, Chelsea played yesterday against Spurs. A very, very, very weird game. Chelsea didn't have much control in that game as much as they should have. You know, the first 10, 15 minutes, you got Spurs actually being aggressive, trying to make something happen. Matthias Tell, he hits the post. If that ball goes in, then you're going to probably see Stamford Bridge get even more toxic than it was against Forest a few weeks ago. And, you know, I'm glad some people are now starting to turn the slander against Enzo Fernandez and making it more positive because Enzo Fernandez, in my opinion, you need to get this brother resigned. You need to give him what he's asking for. Now, people are going to make the most of this celebration that he's done. He's done that celebration for a while, bro. If you pay attention to his celebrations last season, he did the same thing when he scored against Aston Villa, bro, at the bridge. He did the same thing, right? I'm not reading too much into that. A lot of people want to read into it. I'm not going to fall for that. I do think that, and I did see something on Twitter about how he's set to get that contract extension. I need to see if I can find it. But Chelsea and Spurs, bro. I mean, this is why I keep saying that Chelsea were fortunate to have a good start to the season last year or this season, man, because they would be exactly where Tottenham is, and the levels of this game showed it, right? Chelsea had no control of this game. Tottenham, for the most part, were very unlucky not to score a couple more goals in this game. James Maddison has a chance where Richarlison feeds him in, and Joao Hato makes an exceptional goal saving tackle, bro. I mean, if James Maddison makes any kind of solid contact on it before Joao Hato gets there, you're looking at a 2-2 game, and once again, Chelsea blow another lead at the bridge, and this time to Tottenham. Like it just couldn't happen. But fortunately, he makes that tackle. James Maddison then has another chance in the 93rd minute, skies that free kick, and Chelsea escape with a 2-1 win. And now there's a scenario where Chelsea win and Brighton lose. They get into Europe, the Europa League. I mean, honestly, man, it's like I wouldn't mind playing in that competition, but I'd be here for more playing one game a week rather than playing on a Thursday, Sunday schedule. Mainly because this squad isn't built to compete in Europe right now at all, no matter what competition. And you don't want to play in the Conference League because you have to make these ridiculous Like you have to make these ridiculous. You have to travel so far from London, and you're going to the eastern parts of Europe. You're going to places that you've never heard of, and it's like they don't need to be going through that. I'd rather them play one game a week than them playing in the Conference League. The Europa League, fine, but it should be the Champions League, bro. At the bare minimum, it should be the Champions League. But I'm gonna get into a few things here before. Let me see if I can find it first. Okay. I'm gonna get into a few things here. I'll go to Instagram first. Let me go ahead and get my overlay for this ready. So a few things here I want to go over. As I was saying, so the final day scenario for Chelsea, if they want to make it in the Europe, Chelsea win, Brighton win, they get the Conference League. Chelsea win and Brighton lose or draw to Manchester United, Europa League. Chelsea draw and Brentford draw or loss, Conference League. Chelsea lose straight up, no European football. Unlikely scenario, Chelsea draw Brentford, Chelsea draw, Brentford draw, or lose, Brighton lose by 2+ goals. Chelsea get into the Europa League. Now, realistically, the scenario I can see, I'll give you two scenarios I see happening. Sunderland are fighting for the same thing that we are. I think one scenario that can happen is I think Manchester United will be Brighton, in my opinion. But are we going to win at the Stadium of Light? I think that's a tough ask, really. Now, we need to see how the week goes, because judging performances at this point in the season is useless because it's the final game of the season, and they've shot themselves in the foot so much that getting into Europe would just be a slap in the face, in my opinion, to the fans, and it's just going to help out the ownership even more. As much as I want to see my team win, I'd rather us lose that game and just not get into Europe at all. Like, I'd rather just not get into Europe. I'd rather finish 9th or 10th, like I predicted a few months ago. I said Chelsea will finish 9th in the Premier League. They're sitting 7th right now, or 8th, or right now. I don't even know. I think they're sitting 8th right now. I'd rather us lose against Sunderland at the Stadium of Light, and then we just don't get into Europe, period. Because I think this team needs to be down to one game a week and just focus on the league. Because my thinking is they need to be more focused on trying to be consistent in the league rather than competing in multiple competitions, man. Let me go ahead and switch this. I don't know why it's that overlay, bro. I mean, it's there for you on screen. More than likely, what will probably happen, I think, is going to be this scenario right here. Unfortunately, this is what I think is going to actually happen. Chelsea draw, Brentford draw, or lose. And we get into the Conference League. Or the other scenario I see happening is this right here. Because I think Manchester United will be Brighton by 2 or more goals. And I think we'll somehow squeak our way into the Europa League. That's how I see it. Like, I feel so dejected that Arsenal has won the Premier League, bro. Like, it's nuts. I absolutely hate it. But it shows how far off we are, man. It really, really does. It's a disgrace. So another thing I want to pull up here is this right here. Chelsea supporters are heckling Egbali. Hold on.
BlueCo out! BlueCo out!
And yeah, you're not wanting to hear, bro. Just please leave. Like, you guys have absolutely dismantled this club, bro. It's really, really sad. And like this right here, guys, like, I don't see. This is how far we have fallen. We have to flex how many times we beat Tottenham, right? Some things never change, yeah, because we always do the double O over Tottenham, bro. Right? Chelsea have won more games in all competitions against Tottenham than we have against any other club. That's not a flex anymore, bro. Like, it's not a flex. I don't understand it. Like, why are we doing this? Like, it's not a flex to say that we're sitting here beating Tottenham because everyone is beating Tottenham, bro. And then this comment here I find pretty funny. Enzo Maresca will finally teach us how to beat Spurs. Yeah, because for some reason, Man City can't beat Spurs, but everybody else can. Got a quote from Cole Palmer here, too. Everyone is expected, or everyone is excited. He is a top manager. Yeah, bro. We got a lot of Arsenal fans on this on the Chelsea pages, bro, which is like rightfully so. Talk your shit. You guys have a lot of banter, bro, which is fine. We'll see what happens next season, in my opinion, really. Let me see if I can find. I do want to find the because I want to watch that goal again. Oh, I saw this too. Justin Chelsea along with Arsenal. He's gonna go to Arsenal, bro. Like, no one. I think he's nice, bro. I think he's pretty good. Honestly, it says Justin Chelsea along with Arsenal and Real Madrid have sent scouts to watch Junior Krupi. Bournemouth would expect around 80 million for his services. Who's gonna pay up for him? I wonder who's gonna pay up for him. But another thing here, and we can talk about this brother right here. This right here, guys. You know, I think it is his time to leave. Justin, Atletico Madrid want to sign Marc Cucurella from Chelsea this summer. Barca retained interest in the player too. I think it's his time to go, guys. Like, I really, really do. I think it's time for him to get out. Even his performance yesterday, it was average, bro. And he's been average for a while now. You know, at one point, he was one of the most. He was considered one of the more important players in the team, especially last season. But his fall off needs to be studied. At one point, people were singing his name. It was a coup to get him for 62 million from Brighton and all this stuff. His first season with us, it wasn't great, but then he finally started to play well. He has completely fallen off, bro. I think Joao Hato's time is going to be next season. I think Marc Cucurella will be sold in the summer. I think it is between Barca and Atleti. And we'll see how much Chelsea want for him. I think he's one of the bigger players because we keep seeing stories of big players leaving. I think he will be one of the big players that ends up leaving and that will get the most money, in my opinion. Like, you're not going to get the full 62 million back, but what you will get is probably about 40 million for him. That's what I think is going to happen. I think he's gone in the summer. I think Liam Delap needs to leave as well. I mean, unfortunately for him yesterday, he had one moment in the game where he's going up against Jed Spence. And, you know, he's not looking at the ball, but neither is Jed Spence. And Liam Delap elbows him. If you're going to sit here and send Nicholas Jackson on loan for a similar challenge, you might as well just sell Liam Delap, bro. Because Nicholas Jackson is a better player than Liam Delap. I think every Chelsea fan can understand that, and every Chelsea fan should know that. The slander that Nicholas Jackson got towards the end of his time here at Chelsea was insane. I wasn't happy with him picking up the red cards, but I understood the impact he had on the pitch, honestly. And It's no surprise that Cole Palmer's form has dipped this season when he's missing Nicholas Jackson. They both made each other, and people can go argue with the wall over that. Cole Palmer made Nicholas Jackson. Nicholas Jackson made Cole Palmer the footballer that we know. We haven't seen Cole Palmer all season. Yes, he helped out with a couple of the goals yesterday, continued the passage of play, but he wasn't good yesterday. Again. So how many more times are we going to continue to say that Cole Palmer should not be in the England squad? That's what I want to know. But I think Marc Cucurella is gone. Honestly, I really, really do. He's also spoken on the fact that if Barcelona do come knocking, that it would be hard to say no. So I do think his last game for Chelsea will be at the Stadium of Light, bro. Yeah, and like they need to recoup money. I can show this too, even though I was going to talk about Real Madrid. Real Madrid will include an extra year into Jose Mourinho's contract, valid until June 2029. The agreement is sealed and completed as reported on Monday. Yeah, it looks like he's back, man. The special one is back in Madrid. We'll see what happens there, man. I mean, it's going to be a movie, especially with the explosive press conference Florentino Perez had last week. Yeah, we're going to see a movie between Barcelona and Real Madrid, bro. It's going to be very interesting. Just in, oh, well, it's yesterday. So it looks like the reason that he missed yesterday's game was because he has a knock and Levi Kowa is missing due to load management. I can understand Levi Kowa. I think the knock that João Pedro has, bro, is that he's knocked mentally. And he did suffer a slight injury towards the end of the Man City game, but I do think, to be honest with you, bro, the fact that he didn't get called up to the World Cup squad for Brazil has a lot to do with why he didn't play yesterday. Exactly. God forbid Manchester United get themselves in order after 14 years because you know who's in next in line. Chelsea with 10. We're wasting time. That's what I said. Man United right now are going on 14 years, but that could change relatively quickly if they recruit the right players. We need to figure it out, bro. I cannot continue to sit here and watch other teams around us win the Premier League, and we're still like I said this in my stream on the way home yesterday. I was like, if you were to ask Chelsea fans right now which title they prefer as of right now, the Premier League or the Champions League, they would snap your hands off for a Premier League title right now. I would too. That's what I want to win. I can care less about the Champions League. I've seen them win 2 of them, but the Premier League, bro, I need to see them win another one. It's getting to the point where you're seeing teams like Liverpool win it, Man City, Arsenal now won it this season. I mean, come on now, man. How much longer are we going to wait to actually hoist that trophy again? I'm just not a fan of us flexing that we've beaten Spurs for the third consecutive season, doing like the league double. I don't consider that a flex anymore. If you were lifting silverware in that time period, meaningful silverware, this would absolutely mean something. But it doesn't mean anything because Tottenham are just as much in the mud as we are. We gained absolutely nothing from playing Europa or Conference League. How anyone wants to play in either is beyond me. I mean, that's true that if you win the Europa League, it's guaranteed to be in the Champions League for the following season. But at the bare minimum, Chelsea should be qualifying for the Champions League via league positioning, not because you're in the second rate competition and you go win that. That's not happening, bro. Kylian Mbappe is not coming to Chelsea. I don't care what people say or what rumors people are trying to cook up. It's not happening. It is extremely rare for a team to win the Premier League without a dominating number six. This is what Chelsea need to find. We haven't had one since Matic. Last time we won the Premier League. That's not a coincidence. Caicedo, Enzo need to be given real freedom as number eights. Somebody in my stream yesterday came in there and mentioned that Caicedo should be deployed as a number eight, and we need to go get a real defensive midfielder. And he's absolutely right on that. I believe Caicedo needs to be pushed into that number eight position, allow him to give more freedom pushing forward with Enzo, and you need a solid defensive midfielder that's just no nonsense. Because I do believe that Caicedo puts his body at risk every game by being the destroyer just in front of that back line. And over time, you're going to start seeing more injuries out of him because of the tackles he's having to make, the tracking back he's having to do and stuff. He's great. He has great line breaking ability. He's dynamic. He can dribble out of tight spots. He has a shot on him. And you saw Enzo Fernandez's shot from 30 yards out yesterday, right? You're telling me Caicedo can't do the same thing? I've seen him score rockets. So I would love to see him play as an eight. I think Chelsea do need to go out in the transfer market if you can sell players on and go get somebody. Liam Delap has scored 0 goals in the last 25 games in all competition. Chelsea paid $30 million for the striker. How much did we pay for Nico Jackson? Like $32 million. Scored 15 goals in the Premier League without a penalty in his first season, and last season had pretty similar numbers with no penalties. Liam Delap has to go, bro. He needs to go. Did people miss Cucurella's comments during the last international break? They haven't gotten yet that this project is for silent players. Yeah. I was fully done with Jackson after that elbow at Newcastle, fully done with the lab after that elbow last night. Sick of Chelsea strikers elbowing the opposition because they're having an awful game. Kind of mentality we need out of this football club. Nicholas Jackson is just a better player than Liam Delap. Like, honestly. And yeah, he had a couple reds at the end of the season last year, but Nicholas Jackson is just he's the profile we needed in this squad, bro. Liam Delap was not it. We bought him off the hype. We didn't buy him because of his potential. Off the hype he had of last season, scoring 12 goals for Ipswich, bro. That doesn't mean you go spend 30 million on the guy. If he would have went to West Ham, if he would have went to a different team that's in and around the bottom of the table, mid-table, I think Liam Delap has a lot better of a season. But again, it shows the levels that we're looking at. Chelsea now have an agreement with BlueCo. Confirmation likely at the end of the season. I mean, we already knew that, bro. There are 9 possible outcomes on Sunday. Only one sends us down. Yeah, if you lose and West Ham win, you guys are down. Go ahead and find that. I don't know, man. I'm gonna probably go full screen like the rest of the time because I don't really have much to talk about right now. Like, I really don't have too much like to talk about. Like, honestly speaking, man, Arsenal winning the Premier League is great for them, but the rest of the league needs to be on a serious like watch, bro. Like, unless Man City come back next season and they're firing on all cylinders, Liverpool, they find a way to sack Arne Slot and get an actual manager in there that suits that squad. Manchester United, will be in the Champions League next season. We'll see what players Michael Carrick is able to recruit. If Spurs stay up, I don't think Spurs are going to be as bad next season. Chelsea, I can go off on them all day. If Xabi Alonso gets the players that he's looking for, he can sell the dead wood in the squad, the players that are holding the squad back. I'm not talking about the ownership. I'm talking about the squad. You get rid of the players that are holding this team back. I think Chelsea will be a lot better than they were next season. But there's no evidence that this ownership is going to go in there and get the players that we're asking for. There just isn't. So there's really not much more to talk about here. I mean, I've been going live on like my lunches and stuff, and after work, I'll probably do that to see what people are talking about, see what other news pops up throughout the day. As of right now, there's not much to really talk about. So I'm gonna probably end my stream here. I'm gonna just probably like enjoy the rest of my morning until I have to go to work. So I'll see you guys in the next stream. Like it, comment, share, do what you guys have been doing. I love the engagement lately, and I'll see you guys probably later on like my lunch, where I'll just see what stuff has come out throughout